Hey team, welcome to another Bullpen Bulletin with Coach Hart and Building Better Baseball. Today is for players, and we're going to talk about what coaches test for in tryouts. So if you are a rec player and you're going to your first tryout and you don't really know what to expect, I'm going to tell you exactly the top 5 things that coaches are going to test you for in the tryouts to see if you make the team. And again, I'm Coach Hart, Building Better Baseball, best place for baseball education. Let's get into what coaches test for in tryouts. So there's really 5 things that coaches are going to test you for when you get to your first tryout. And 4 of them have to do with kind of like the 5 tools of baseball, if you know about the 5 tools of baseball. But then that 5th one is kind of like a secret one that not everybody thinks about, and I think is one of the most important things. So the first one that they're going to test you for is your running speed. All right, and this is not in a specific order. A lot of coaches do them in different orders, but these are just the overall 5 things. So the first one is your running speed. So be prepared to obviously run the bases, right? Every single coach, if they're a good coach and they know how to run a tryout, they will test your speed from home plate to first base. Basically, if you hit the ball, they're testing your speed to first base, getting a single. Some coaches might even do a double. Some coaches might do a triple or even like a full in the park home run. All right, so they will test your running speed running to first base, or like I said, maybe a double, triple, or even an in-the-park home run. They're just trying to test how fast you are. And also, one little tip for this is to run through all of the bases. They test your baseball base running IQ. So do you run through the bag and not just to the bag? Do you, when you take your double or in the park home run, do you have the proper angles of getting around the bases? What is your base running kind of skills or mechanics? And that's what they're looking for. Not just your speed, but how you run the bases, and do you know the proper mechanics and proper just kind of way or style to run the bases. So be prepared to test your running speed. The second thing they're going to test for is fielding or catching, right? So they're going to have you field ground balls, they're going to have you field fly balls or catch fly balls. All right? So one tip I have for this is most likely they will have you on the left side of the infield. If you like shortstop, third base area, to also test your arm strength, which is a little bit later, but they will test how you field ground balls. So be prepared to be at third base or be prepared to be at shortstop or even left field, right? Because they're going to test your fielding and catching. So for fielding a ground ball, and this also kind of goes for fielding a fly ball or catching a fly ball. I was just at a tryout this past weekend, and one thing I saw is that when the players are going to the ball, they are not running to the spot of where the ball will be and letting it get to them. All right, they are kind of drifting and running at the same speed as the ball to almost meet the ball where the spot is. All right, so especially when you're fielding an outfield ground ball or outfield fly ball, when the ball is hit, you want to run to the spot. Run to the spot and camp under it and almost get behind the ball. All right, like I said, I saw a lot of kids just drifting to kind of meet the ball where it was. All right, so one tip I have is just to run to the spot. Run to the spot to where you know it's going to be and get behind the ball so you're ready to catch. All right, the second thing is catch with 2 hands. I cannot tell you how many kids I saw, they do not use their other hand to catch the ball, and I just don't get it. You have 2 hands for a reason. You might as well use them, right? A lot of kids, they just went up like this with their glove, and some balls even popped out of their glove. Use that second hand to your advantage. When you go up and you grip and you have this, you catch the ball and you secure it with your throwing hand. So use 2 hands always. Anytime you ever catch a ball for the rest of your life, use 2 hands to catch the ball. Whether it's a fielding ground ball, a throw, or a fly ball, use 2 hands. Use both of your hands. All right. Use that throwing hand to secure that ball in the glove. All right. So A lot of kids, they go up there like this, and then the ball pops out of their glove because they're not using that second hand. So make sure you use two hands. All right, so, and also for a ground ball, same thing. Run to the spot, kind of get behind the ball instead of drifting, trying to meet the ball where it is. All right, try to get behind the ball to the spot so you can get in front of it, moving forward so you can throw that ball to first base. All right, so the second one is fielding or catching. All right, be prepared for number one, running speed. Second one, fielding or catching skills. Third one, obviously hitting, right? They want to see how you hit the ball. Now, for this one, I would say do not worry about where the ball goes, okay? So don't worry about where you're hitting it, how far you're hitting it, or anything like that. If he's a good coach, most coaches look for your hitting mechanics, and they also look for contact. Are you putting the barrel on the ball, and is the ball going into the field, right? Rather than just doing little dribblers or a straight pop-up or anything like that. Are you making contact, and are you getting that ball out into the field, whether it is a good hit or not? That is what coaches will be looking for, is your mechanics, and are you making contact with the ball? So I know that a lot of kids, they kind of get down on themselves because they're just hitting ground balls, right? Oh, it's a ground ball to shortstop. That's an out. That's an out. That's an out. And I would not focus on that. Do not focus on that, because everybody has good days and everybody has bad days. And coaches know this. Coaches know this. But your mechanics are not going to change. Your mechanics are here, and if you're putting the ball or putting the barrel on the ball and getting that ball out into the field, then that is what they are looking for. So worry about making contact, getting the ball into the field, and just focusing on your mechanics, making sure they're sound. Okay, that's what the coaches are going to be looking for. One thing I saw in this previous tryout that I was just at is just a simple fix of, I feel that the kids are just not seeing the ball. I saw a lot of swing and misses, but this swing and miss was caused because the head is coming out, or the eyes are looking over here. The eyes are not looking at the ball. All right, so one little drill I have, it's a really simple drill. It's called chin, shoulder to shoulder. All right, and what that is basically, if I'm a right-handed hitter, I have my chin on this shoulder, and I make sure that my eyes are on the ball, and my eyes come all the way following the ball to the contact point, and then on my follow-through, my chin goes to my other shoulder. So chin, shoulder to shoulder. Make sure your chin goes shoulder to shoulder, because that will keep your eyes on the ball. All right, and if you can see the ball, that means you can hit the ball. You cannot hit what you cannot see. And that's one thing I saw a lot this past weekend, is that the kids, they just didn't see the ball, so there was a lot of swing and misses. All right, and even though they may be good hitters, they weren't looking at the ball, right? So that's one simple fix that I can see, is that they just didn't see the ball. And if you can take your chin shoulder to shoulder, right, that keeps your eyes on the ball, which makes you put the barrel on the ball, which makes it go into the field, which is exactly what coaches will be looking for. All right, so the hitting. All right, so we have running, we have fielding, catching, we have hitting. Last one is arm strength. All right, so one little tip I have is, don't worry about how hard you're throwing the ball, because you could throw the ball 100 miles an hour, but the ball doesn't get to first base, or it doesn't hit the cutoff man, or anything like that. And that's mainly what coaches should be looking for, is your accuracy. Focus on your accuracy. It does not matter how, obviously it does. Your arm strength does. If you can't get it to first base, then that's one thing. But if you can get it to first base, or you can get it to the cutoff man, all right, worry about your accuracy. Make accurate throws. All right, just like pitching, throw strikes over velocity. All right, you could throw 150 miles an hour, but if you're walking every kid, you're not going to be pitching. Right? So make sure you're accurate, and focus on accuracy over trying to just power the ball everywhere and making bad throws. I believe that bad throws, like missing first base or missing the cutoff man, is more detrimental to your tryout than not throwing with velocity or not throwing a hard ball. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so like I said, we have running speed, fielding, catching, we have hitting, we have arm strength. The last one that I believe that is really important, the coaches are looking for, is your hustle and your attentiveness. All right? Hustle and attentiveness. Whenever you are at a tryout, and really whenever you're anywhere on the baseball field, make sure you are hustling, at least jogging. You should never be walking on a baseball field. All right? Never be walking, at least jogging to where you're going to go. All right? And this stems from what the coaches are seeing. They are putting you in a practice situation. So they are seeing you at a tryout. They are seeing you walk around everywhere, not really hustling. They are thinking to themselves, I guess this kid is not, they're not really going to hustle. So that means in practice, they're going to be walking around. All right. And that's not what we want. Right. So make sure you show the coaches that you want to be there. All right, hustle shows the coaches that you want to be there, and that is 100% in your control. That is in your control of how much you hustle. The hitting, the fielding, catching, if a ball pops out, you have no control over those things. The one thing that you can control is your hustle and how you get everywhere on the field. Show the coaches that you want to be there and that you want to be on their team. All right, because like I said, if I'm a coach and I see a kid just walking everywhere, not really hustling, that tells me that he doesn't really want to be there. All right, so, and also attentiveness, the last part. There will be more standing around than usual, like more than a practice, more than anything else, because the coaches have to get through everybody to have a tryout. If there's 20 kids at a tryout and everybody is at shortstop, there's going to be a line of kids waiting to get their turn to do their tryout, right? There will be more standing around than usual. Do not play around or goof around or not pay attention, because, as I said before, the coach will attribute that to how you will act in practice. All right? If he is seeing that you are just messing around, putting your glove on your head, throwing your hat around, I'm not saying don't laugh, but goofing off with these other kids while this other kid is trying to do his best and do a tryout and try and make the team just like you are, that tells the coach, this kid doesn't really pay attention. He doesn't really want to be here. He just kind of want to goof off with his friends. That's probably what he's going to be in practice. All right, so attentiveness. Are you standing in line? Now, I know standing in line is hard, but it's something that has to do, it's something in tryouts that we have to do. So is this kid attentive? Is he cheering for his other players? Is he looking at everything? Is he paying attention? Is he listening? All right. That is huge in a tryout because, like I said, the tryout that I just saw, there was one kid actually performing the skill, doing their tryout, trying to do their best, while almost everybody in the line was goofing off, laughing, not paying attention. And that just tells me, that makes me think that they don't want to be there or they're not taking it seriously. That's the one main thing, is they're not taking it seriously. If you are serious about this tryout and you are serious about playing at a higher level of baseball, you should be attentive. You should be cheering for your other player who's up, because when you get up, you want them to pay attention to you and not have all this background noise and background commotion distracting you. And you also want them to cheer for you, right? Everybody cheers for each other, and that is what a good teammate does, and that shows the coach that you are a good teammate, because if you have 5 kids behind you goofing around, but you are the one who's cheering and looking and paying attention and listening and being attentive, that shines for the coach. That shows the coach that you want to be here and you are serious about playing on their team. Okay, so like we said, running, fielding, catching, arm strength and hitting, but then also just hustle everywhere and be attentive. Cheer for your teammates, because that's what you want them to do for you. All right, so the hustle and attentiveness is so important, because everything that you do, how you act, the coach attributes that to how you're going to act in practice and during games. And if you're serious, you show the coach that you want to be there and you're serious about making their team. All right, so hopefully this worked, and hopefully this kind of made you a little bit more prepared for the next tryout or even your first tryout that you're going to go to. All right, these are the things that they're going to look for, so be prepared to do all of these things and be prepared to wait in some lines, but make sure you're cheering, hustling, and being attentive at all times. Show the coach you want to be there. You can do it, and I know you can, and just do all of these things, and you will be on that team. So before you go, make sure you grab your free guide down below. It's a free parent starter pack and a free youth coaching starter pack. Feel free to grab it. It's full of different things, practice plans, things like that. So feel free to grab it if you like and if you think it would be valuable. So remember, I'm Coach Hart. This is Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. And I'll see you in another video real soon.